If you have ongoing exposure to controlling people, it's a virtual certainty that you're going to experience blurry boundaries, which is why I've created the extensive online course called This Is Me, Establishing Boundaries with the Controllers in Your Life. There's a link below that will give you all of the details, and I hope that you would find it therapeutic. One of the things that makes the study of narcissism so intriguing is that a narcissist can show up in many different forms or in many different behavioral patterns. Today, I want to talk with you about the covert malignant narcissist. Now, when we talk about narcissism first, we're talking about somebody that has a high need for control and low levels of empathy. They tend to be very manipulative, they're very entitled and self-absorbed. When we talk about a covert narcissist, we're talking about somebody who doesn't necessarily appear to be strongly narcissistic up front. They can cover it well, but over time, that need for control and all the rest that goes with it does tend to show up. You just don't necessarily see it immediately. And then when we talk about a malignant narcissist, we're talking about somebody that has that strong need for control in an extra measure. They can be quite mean and calloused in the way that they engage with other people. So when we talk about that covert malignant narcissist, we're talking about a very difficult kind of person to engage with, because at first you don't necessarily see the fullness of that malignancy and the meanness that's there, but in time it does begin to show up, and boy, if you're attached to that person, it's not good news. Now, I want to go through 10 different indicators that will help you identify the covert malignant narcissist. Now, the first thing that we'll say about this individual is they do not want to be known. Now, obviously, if you're going to engage with them, you're going to know certain things about them. You may learn that they were used to live in Cleveland, Ohio, or they have a job doing this, or they maybe have 2 kids that do such and such. And so you might know some of the basics about it. But as the narcissist goes, and especially the covert and the malignant variety goes, it's like, the less you know about me, the better off I'm going to be. See, one of the things that's very important to them is they do not want to be vulnerable. They don't want you to see anything that would give you, or know anything about them that would give you any kind of advantage about them. They certainly won't talk about personal experiences beyond a superficial level. They simply do not want you to see whatever kind of humanity other individuals might tend to reveal. It just won't happen. Now, a second thing that we can say as we identify the covert malignant narcissist is that they're not just intolerant of separate beliefs and persuasions that people have. They're profoundly intolerant of other people's different beliefs and persuasions. In their mind, if you differ from them, you're not just wrong, you're despicable. They actually will show contempt to anybody that would dare think or prioritize or believe in ways that would be different from them. It's just like, there's stupid people and then there is you. That's how they think. And so differences bring out a very harsh kind of reaction from them. A third thing that we can say that identifies them is there's a sense of zero give and take when you discuss things with them. Now, or when you try to make decisions with them. Now, they have black and white thinking. Yes, that's part of it, but it's beyond just black and white thinking. The covert malignant narcissist is known for having strong, and I mean strong, rigidity. It's like, I will hear nothing else that doesn't fit with my game plan, with my agenda. And so there is no sense of discussion. There is no sense of give and take. It's what I say it has to be. And that's how they think, and they can communicate very strongly that way. And they're just known for being ridiculously stubborn. A fourth indicator, which would come as no surprise, is they have no regard whatsoever for your needs and feelings. Now, we hear that narcissists have low levels of empathy. In the covert and the malignant narcissist, The empathy is completely non-existent. They're poor listeners. They have no curiosity about you. They're not interested in knowing anything about you beyond data collecting. Now, if they hear something about you that kind of gets their attention, it'll only be because it's like, it's good to know certain things about you because I can use that against you. So they like learning about some of the personal things in your life, but only for the reason of finding a scoop on you, if you will. Now, a fifth thing that we can say about the covert malignant narcissist is that as a general rule, they tend to manage their anger with passivity. Now, when I say passivity, I don't mean that they're not intentional, because they're very intentional. But what I mean is they can be very stoic in their anger. They can just give blank stares, and they're known for just having this mean glare. They offer the silent treatment as a way of letting it be known, you have bothered me and you are now on my bad side. They'll stonewall you. They have a lack of cooperation of enormous magnitude, a lot of passive aggressive, harsh anger that they have. Now, a sixth thing that we can say is this doesn't mean that they don't have openly aggressive anger. And when they do have openly aggressive anger, it's expressed with an extra measure of cruelty. The covert malignant narcissist is known for just spewing insults. Their words can be laced with hate, and they can be very condescending and very debilitating, and you can just walk away just feeling like you've been ripped to shreds, because that's how they operate. They leave no mistake about how strongly they feel in a negative kind of direction. A seventh thing that we can identify them with is they tend to collect people who they deem to be weaker. In other words, they like having yes people around them, whether it's their girlfriends or their guy friends or coworkers. They like having people around who will just nod their head and say yes. And this proves in that narcissist's mind exactly how powerful and mighty they actually are. They have plenty of flying monkeys. Now, an eighth identifier of the covert malignant narcissist is, to them, truth is expedient, which is a nice way of saying they lie easily, but then they also keep secrets, or their storyline can change depending on what their narrative may be. And when you're talking with them and when you engage with them, you never quite get the feeling that you're getting the whole story. And they're very cagey with what they reveal, and they make up things to go along with whatever their narrative might be. A ninth identifier is that they have no conception whatsoever regarding love. They don't have a need for love. If someone says, I love you, then it's like, whatever. Now, they may want sex, and they may be sexual in their orientation toward people, but even then, it's more of a, give me what I want right now, and then I'm done with you. Instead of love, though, they require conformity. They want your submission, they want your obedience, and they want compliance at every level. And then a 10th thing that we can say that would identify them is that their hardened feelings regarding you just simply deepen over time. Sometimes when you get to know somebody, they tend to be a little bit hard-edged. Over time, you think, well, yeah, but on the inside, there's a teddy bear in there. Not with the covert malignant narcissist. Over time, instead of mellowing, the more you get to know that person, the more they reveal that they actually have just a commitment to dominance, and they leave no room for imagination on that. Now, as you engage with these individuals, you may have all these protesting kind of thoughts on the inside of your mind, thinking it doesn't have to be this way. I mean, for example, you might think to yourself or even say out loud, hey, look, I'm willing to be helpful. I mean, doesn't that matter? Can't you appreciate what that would lead to? Or, I've shown myself to be open-minded. Surely you can do the same in reverse with me. Or I've always been willing to be fair and to have a sense of give and take. Can't you do that with me in reverse? Or I'm a good listener. I'll consider your point of view. Surely you could do the same with me. I have a good reputation. Doesn't that matter? And wouldn't that seem to soften some of your reactions to me? I'd never treat anyone with blatant disregard or disrespect. Surely you can appreciate that. And you're wanting to bring that other person around. You might say something like, hey, look, I'm willing to say I'm sorry and I'm willing to offer forgiveness. I'd like for you to do that in reverse with me. And I'm certainly willing to find a middle ground. Or come on, can't you see that, there's always a deeper story that you need to appreciate? You'll never find someone as reasonable as me, and on and on. And you're dealing with that covert malignant type of narcissist when you realize their reaction to all of that is unimpressed. I don't care. Whatever good you think you bring to the equation, it means nothing to me. You're just a pathetic person as far as I'm concerned. What a weakling you are, which they actually want you to believe that. Why would I have to worry about listening to you? I'm going to have the final word. Don't you get it? And I'll squash you like a bug if I have to. And so there's just this coldness that they bring. So the bottom line that tells you that you're dealing with that covert malignant narcissist is you just are not able to apply any kind of standard rules of engagement with them at all. They don't really care about relationships. They're only interested in connections in the sense that you're a transaction, and they're unmoved by any kind of desire on your heart to have fairness, and certainly they don't want to have any kind of heart connection from you at all. So that being the case, know that it's wisest for you to have the least amount of interaction with this person as possible. They're bad news. Also, when you're in the presence of that person, resolve to yourself that you'll share the least amount of personal information about who you are, because they will use it against you. And then obviously you're going to want to think to yourself, I need to find some people that know how to do relationships much, much differently from me. The covert malignant narcissist is a human in name only, because they've lost any appreciation at all for true humanity. These people are troubled souls, and they tend not to change in the least. I know this is kind of rough for you to understand and appreciate, but at the same time, I'm hoping that with knowledge can be power, and it can help you move forward. If you've not already hit that subscribe button, I would encourage you to do so we can keep more information coming in your direction. When you're dealing with someone like this, you may come to the conclusion that some psychotherapy would be very beneficial to you. And we have a link below that from our sponsor that has a whole team of licensed professional therapists, and these are experienced individuals. I've had good feedback from people who have used our service here. So if you have a need for therapy, please avail yourself to the service that we have. I think you'll find that to be beneficial. In addition, I have my courses, which are a collection of videos and teaching points and reflection questions. This is me. It's all about setting boundaries with controllers, and free to be about finding your identity despite the controllers. And then we also have links to my books and other resources below. I wanted you to have a good overview here of what we're talking about when we talk about narcissism of the covert malignant variety, so that as you go forward, like I say, knowledge is power. You can at least know what you're dealing with. They want to make sure that you know and believe that you're the problem. And that's not even the case at all. These are people who are damaged from the inside out, through and through, so much so that they just can't get in touch with their humanity. And I'm hoping that as you understand that, it can prompt or give you permission to say, I've got to move on, because I want to be a person of dignity, respect, and civility. And I want to be poised to be somebody who lives in peace and knows how to offer peace to those in my presence. That's what I'm hoping we can stand for here on Team Healthy.